Monsieur Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fay.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave acts in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bësal mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances, not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap. All in one. All for you. Tap in. Zap in.
On Thursday, the 20th of November 2025, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. It's now, 6 minutes past 9 o'clock, and it's time to bring Alhaji Baimas Taal back on, the Gambia's former Water and Natural Resources Minister. And this morning he rejoins us to review the Gambia's commitments under international climate conventions and assess the country's compliance with other global instruments. Alhaji Baimas, good to have you back again.
Thank you very much, Peter. I'm very happy to be back here to discuss issues that are very important globally, regionally, and nationally. And I hope that the audience will enjoy it. And it's very scientific, but I'll try to break it down so that the ordinary person will understand when we talk about climate change, global warming, and its implications to the country and the opportunities it provides for the country to access resources for our development agenda.
And just to start us off, how do you assess the current global warming trends and their impact on our country, the Gambia?
The trend is very, very, very serious because as much as we are trying to reduce global warming, like I said the other time, we are making one step forward and two steps backwards. Because first we have to understand what is causing the global warming. And what causes global warming is that we have what we call greenhouse gases, that are carbon dioxide, nitric oxide, etc., that we put into the atmosphere. And these gases, they absorb rays from the sun and then emit it back into the earth. And we have an umbrella that surrounds us, that's the atmosphere. So that when it emits it, it stays because the difference in temperature between day and night is immense. So that at night, if this doesn't happen, we will all freeze. So it emits that energy, the infrared, back into the earth and is shielded by the atmosphere that keeps us warm. But as we emit more of these gases, because some of these gases were natural, like methane, carbon dioxide, because of industrialization. Our development agenda of the West that we all followed is to industrialize. And that puts all of these greenhouse gases into the planet, and they emit more in infrared, therefore increasing the temperature of the Earth. The Earth is now 1.5 degrees centigrade warmer than in the 1800s. But God has created the earth in a way that we can live in it. Everything is what we call ecosystem functionality. Everything is functioning. But when we started interfering with it, mankind started interfering with it, then things start changing. So the climate change, global warming, you have both natural, that is volcano, etc. And then you have human-induced, like pollution, the cars we drive, putting carbon dioxide, methane, etc. That is man-induced. So what we are trying to do is to reduce those, man-induced, components like pollution. But how to do that? We are all 194 countries, independent countries. Therefore, in 1992, at the onset United Nations Conference on Environment and Development in Brazil, I was there, not as a Gambian or international, but I was a consultant. That's when the world was trying to say, look here, we are doing damage to ourselves. We have to do something. Let's have some conventions. And that's when they start having the Climate Change Convention, Biodiversity Convention, Desertification Convention, different conventions, so that countries will come together and have legally binding. Then scientists studied. They have what they call the IPCC, International Panel on Climate Change, that did all the studies and said, look here, if we continue the way we are, we'll perish because the earth cannot support life. Therefore, we need to reduce the temperature and bring it to not more than 1.5, reduce it from how it was in the industrial era to now to 1.5. So, how to do that? They met in Kyoto in 1997. I have what we call the Kyoto Agreement.
Yes.
That says that developed countries should reduce emission, because emission mainly comes from the developed world. They agreed, but there was no target. But that was the starting point. Developed countries say, okay, we will reduce. That was 1997. But fast track to Paris. Paris now puts, hey, target. That was in 2015. I was there. So reduce not to 1.5 degrees centigrade. They were trying to comply to that agreement, and it's legally binding. However, I can say that we are not reaching that target. We have even moved it from 1.5 to 2.0. Because
it's now 2.0.
Yeah, 2.0. Because what is happening, countries go their side and say yes. They go back to their country and say, we want to develop. I'll give you a few examples. We know the greenhouse gases, where they're coming from. I'll name a few countries. Senegal, they wanted, when they had problem with electricity, they had a big project now around Tengage of power generating using coal. And the climate negotiations were banning coal, because coal is one of the emitters of greenhouse gases.
Sure.
But they want electricity, bam, they did that. United States, one of the biggest polluters, you have a current president who doesn't believe it. Say, okay, we have dig, baby, dig. That is the oil in Texas, in Alaska. Dig, baby, why climate change now? Let's reduce use of fossil fuel. You come, Gambia. Let me just, Gambia. At least Senegal, they ban vehicles that are more than 7 years old to be imported. Now this government say, okay, let's make it 10. But Gambia is a dumping ground. You see all of these Mercedes 1, 2, 3 series that are dumped over there. These are highly emittents,
polluting vehicles. Yeah.
So we do not have a policy on that. Then other things, we are, as I said the other time, we are not moving towards green energy. We have the sunshine here. We have the sun and we have the wind. But we are just, a very, very little that we are celebrating. I wouldn't celebrate on that, because there's the green fund that is putting 10 billion a year that you move to green energy. There's other funds that is green transportation. Senegal public transport now did there uses electricity. You know, we are not moving towards that. But if you are going towards that, there are funds available. Sometimes I wonder when I hear Ports Authority talk about the green ferry. I said, I hope we didn't take our money to go and buy it, or it's a grant or whatever, because things like that, there are funds available. Once you go green, there are a lot. We are talking of 1.3 trillion commitment to go green. Trillion. We have what we call the $100 million commitment for Africa for going green, transportation, you know, energy, agriculture, go to not artificial fertilizer. So anything that you do, that you go green, there are funds available. That's why I believe in the green economy. I advocate for the green economy. South Africa, in their development plan, when you say it, it's green economy base. Ethiopia, green economy base. Here, they talk about it, but it's a lip service. It's just putting it there in title. When I looked at last year budget, they put you know, a sentence or so. But you should live with what you say. We actually, that what frustrates me, that we go anti-green. I will give you an example. In the green, you know, we know forests and vegetation are carbon sinks. You know, they
absorb carbon.
They absorb carbon
dioxide.
Therefore, when you have your forest cover, it's helping to mitigate, you know, global warming. But what is happening now? I was the director of forestry, the first Gambian director of forestry in 1981, then followed by Fode and etc. Our policy was the forest cover we found, we should try and increase it. Or the worst case scenario, leave it as it is.
Preserve it as it is.
But now we are reducing it.
We'll come to that later on.
Yeah.
What specific climate risks do you see as most urgent for Gambian communities?
Oh,
We talk about coastal erosion, we talk about, you know, health consequences, even agriculture. They say, well, in the past we used to have up to 150,000 tons of groundnut. Now we are lucky if we have even 30,000 tons in a year.
yes. The risk that we face is that there is what we call, in the climate negotiation, that we call mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation is for the industrialized countries. They have to mitigate. They are the one polluting. We are the Annex 2 countries for adaptation. What does that mean? We have to adapt to the new situation. For example, if 30 years ago we were using this type of groundnut seed to cultivate our groundnuts, and now because of climate change, if you use that seed, you may not have enough yield. Therefore, you have to adapt to say, okay, now the rains come virtually end of July, August, and you don't know when it ends. Therefore, we have to have other type of seeds. Not only that, our buildings should be climate resilient. You know, all these roads should be climate resilient. That's what we call the Global Environmental Facility that gives you money. Say, okay, if you are building roads and it costs you 20 million, in the traditional way, it has to be now climate resilient. It may cost you, if it was 20, now it may cost you 30. That extra 10 is given to you free to be climate resilient. So we have to adapt to the situation. This Gambia faces the risk because we are a coastal country, low-lying. 1 degree centigrade increase in global warming, Banjul will disappear. Scientists have done that research. Okay. So we belong to the low-lying and the small island states. You can see some of the others in Venutan and all of those areas. They are disappearing slowly. And we too, that is happening. So Gambia, we face bigger risk than a lot of countries because we are low-lying. It affects our aquifer, the water. It affects our agriculture. It affects our food production. It affects our livelihood. Take, for example, mangrove. Mangrove, we have a lot of mangrove. That's carbon sink. But now, because of, I don't know, I wouldn't call it development, people wanting land. Now we are begin to clear the mangroves, to make it people can build. Go to Bond Road. What you see there is eyesore.
And Kamalo.
And all of that. So all of those risks. Now, once we realize those risks, government should take steps to stop those. So that takes commitment from government and people who advise, who understand that what we are doing, development, sustainable development. That's why we say sustainable. Before we were saying development.
And speaking of development, how do you then balance immediate development needs with long-term climate resilience?
Well, that's why the sustainable development concept came in 1992. Say that short-term development, will ruin you, because in the end there is no more development because you have used all the resources. Short-term development means using the resources now and not leaving anything for future generation. Sustainable development now is that you use the resources, what you need, but not exactly everything that you need, but what will keep you going to give you decent living so the future generation will come in. We at the United Nations Environment Program, we define sustainable development as three-legged stool. Three-legged stool, if you cut one leg, it wouldn't stand.
No.
Three-legged stool, one is economic, social, environmental. It must be economically feasible, socially acceptable, and environmentally sound. You have to put all of these three together so that it can go for generation to generation. Because the land where we live is on trust. To us, it doesn't belong to us, but our children and our grandchildren. So it's not, we cannot go to use the resources that are here, the capital, and that future generation wouldn't find anything there. So the planning should be, you have a long-term plan, you have a medium-term plan, and you have a short-term plan. But the short-term plan is not, let's clear everything, let's do everything. It's what we call the greed in the human being. The greed in the human being. Peter, you have your carbon footprint. I have a carbon footprint. Everybody has a carbon footprint. That is, you measure how much carbon you are contributing. So reduce that carbon footprint.
How do you do that? How do you measure how much carbon dioxide you're putting
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
You are driving a car. Is it electrical?
No.
Is it hybrid?
No.
So you are contributing. So if you move, you are reducing. Right? And government, like for example Senegal, the public transport is electric. You are reducing, etc. So everybody, we say it's a global problem, but local solution, an individual solution also. Everybody has a role to play. So everybody, you look when Morocco organized the COP.
Okay. So speaking of COP, how do you, or rather, how effective do you think the COP series have been?
Not very effective. Effective though, but not very. At least it brings people together to talk. But me and some other people.
So for 30 attempts and still nothing?
It's a big jamboree. It's a big jamboree. It's a festival. You go there, 30,000 people at least. Right now in Brazil, they're having problem with accommodation. Prices of hotels are very high. In Copenhagen, some also live in Sweden to be going. So everybody goes there. But when you go there, the way it's being done, you go there, you cannot even talk. What is happening is that the negotiations are done by groups. You have the G77 and China chairman. You have European Union chairman. And then you have the JUSCAN, that is countries that are not in the European Union, nor in the G7, JUSCAN, Japan, US, Australia, New Zealand, those. So you have those three groups. They are the one negotiating, and each one has a negotiator. So we just sit there, and then there are sessions where ministers will just come and make a statement. At least they put targets. We say how much scientists come with data and tell the politicians, because at the end, the decisions are political decisions. It's the ministers who go and heads of states that go and talk. So, but scientists come with data. Say, if we continue business as usual, this is going to happen. This is how much funds you need, and they will commit. This $1 billion 100 billion per annum is a target. But I just read paper, we failed.
Yeah.
So this meeting in Cancun is to affirm commitments and common report also, and report the progress you being made. Then another thing why it's not going as it's supposed to be, I'll give Gambia for example, you know, and it happens to a lot of countries, like it seems like it belongs to one sector, the environment, but it's cross-sectoral. Before they go, there should be like a national workshop, and everybody participate and give inputs on, you know, farmers say this is what is happening and so forth. But what I see happening in the Eastern, the people that go, sometimes they don't even represent the country, they give their own views because there is no harmony. There should be harmony. I remember in Nigeria, they had a special advisor at the office of the president at the ministerial level, super minister, Amina, now who is the deputy secretary general, was in charge. That's what it is. Before climate meeting, you know, have workshop throughout the country, they come with common position of Gambia.
Okay.
But when Gambia goes, Gambia cannot negotiate. Gambia goes, then Africa group will meet every day at 7 o'clock in the morning. So all African countries will give their concern, and they will look at it, and Africa will choose which are the best. So Gambia, you have to put your case there. If it is accepted, if it's not accepted, then it wouldn't go. Then the Africa group will go and negotiate with the G77 and China. And once they pick up, G7 China is the spokesperson for all of us. We'll go and negotiate on behalf of all of us. So that's how it's been going. It's good in a way, like the Paris Accord gave targets.
How are we implementing our commitments under the Paris Accord?
Okay. The Paris Accord basically is for the developed world, say reduce. But we, developing countries, you can gain a lot because, Peter, there is a lot of money. It's what we call carbon trading. I belong to a group that we facilitate carbon trading for different countries. Like they say, reduce your emission, and we want to get to 1.5. So countries are giving allocated. Let's say Germany, you are allocated, 100,000 tons of carbon or greenhouse gas you can emit. And Germany has reached that limit already, but they need to continue developing. They need maybe to emit another 20,000. Gambia, we are not emitting. So they say, Gambia, we want to buy your emission rights so that we will continue our 20, maybe Gambia is for 10, we sell, and we have money for that. So they will emit on our behalf.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what carbon trading is. But the environment are saying that's not even good because you are still emitting. We want to reduce that. We don't want you to say you are emitting on behalf of Gambia. But they will come to Gambia and say, okay, you are two things. Now we have passed our limit. We don't want to buy your emission rights, but we want to use your forest as a sink. So what we are emitting, your forest will absorb it. So they will pay us for that. I remember I negotiated part of Costa Rica. It's a tropical rainforest for GIZ, and they got $20 million for
using their forest.
Yeah. But when you have that agreement now, you don't touch that forest. You don't cut it. You leave it there to be. So there are a lot of opportunities. Our mangroves are opportunities. And etc. But go back to how we are not following the commitment and so forth. We have to, the actors need to understand where the carbons are. Even agriculture, we had tilling and no tilling. When you till the soil, you are releasing carbon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's there. So if you don't till it now and you want farmers, how are you going to do? You get funds for that. We have what we follow, all trees sequester carbon is there, but you cut it and make furniture. You will follow the trail of that furniture until the end of the life of that furniture. What is going to happen? Don't burn it. You are putting it up there. Here we believe in slash and burn agriculture. That is, by May, all the farmers are burning the grass and so forth. So we are emitting into the atmosphere. So these are the things that we should avoid and come up with how we do adaptation, that we don't have to be burning the grass, and there are funds available for that so that we can do that. So we should be very mindful of what we sign and how we domesticate it at the national level.
But there was a time when the Gambia was commended for being the only country in line to achieving its Paris Accord commitments.
What are we emitting? What are we emitting?
So
I saw it.
So that was automatic.
Yeah, that's automatic. Yeah. You know, sometimes, you know, in the international world, you know, you can't hear and say, bravo, you clap it. If you are not emitting anything, so you come first, you know. So that was, it's not like we have taken measures.
How could we have leveraged that position maybe to gain more from, you know, climate financing?
Climate financing, there's lot to get. Once they have made that political announcement, it's not scientific political. So now you take the political and now develop a lot of projects that are environmentally friendly, green projects, you know, agriculture. You said, well, you know, organic fertilizer.
Do you think we seized on that opportunity to make the best use of it?
We missed a lot of opportunities. Not only that, I wouldn't get into OIC. That's where the biggest miss is, because I was involved in other countries, OIC, and even in Saudi, working on that. And I prepared a paper for the government on how we can leverage after OIC. It's just like when Sonko said, with no farmer before, during and after. So all of these things you have before, during and after. So we were concerned with before and during, but we didn't take care of after. After, that's where you can get. So in the climate, there are a lot of funds. We are leveraging few, and there are few experts here who can help. You have, you know, the former Minister of Environment, who became the director of the Green Fund for Africa. And he knows all the nitty-gritty, how to develop projects to access money from the Green Fund. So what is lacking in Gambia and in a lot of development is that the capacity to be able to, we call that marketable projects. Because the people who are looking at those projects, they are looking at certain keywords and certain key phrases and what is coming out from that. So you need to have the people who will be able to develop those type of projects that are marketable, and to either the climate financing, which comes from different facets, you know, of climate financing. So we need to develop the capacity.